Have you ever been exhausted, even after doing nothing all day because your mind would not stop talking? Have you ever felt that the older you get, the more your thoughts multiply, as if the mind is trying to solve every possible future before it arrives? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to talk about overthinking in old age in a way that feels real and gentle, not judgmental. Not pretending that life is easy. Overthinking is not a sign that you are weak. Overthinking is often a sign that you are trying to protect yourself. The mind believes that if it thinks enough, it can prevent pain. It believes that if it rehearses every scenario, it can avoid being surprised. It believes that if it analyzes every regret, it can somehow rewrite the past. But the cost is heavy. The cost is your peace, your sleep, your breath, your ability to taste the simple goodness of a quiet moment. So in this video, we are going to walk through 6 Buddhist lessons that help you stop overthinking in old age. But I do not want to present them like a lecture. I want to tell them as a linked path, like something you can actually carry into your morning and your night. When the house is quiet and the mind is loud, when the body is tired and the thoughts keep marching, when you want rest but the brain keeps dragging you into memory and prediction. Let us begin with an image. Imagine an old radio sitting on a shelf. It still works, but the dial is sensitive. A small touch in the station changes. The sound becomes static, is so constant that you forget what silence sounds like. Many people carry a mind like that in later life. The dial gets touched by a headline, by a memory, by a body sensation, by a comment from a family. The mind shifts into noise. It begins broadcasting fear. It begins broadcasting blame. It begins broadcasting blame. Begins broadcasting blame. It begins broadcasting endless planning. Buddhist wisdom begins by saying something simple. The mind is not your enemy. It is a tool, and like any tool, it can be trained. So the goal is not to distort thoughts. The goal is to stop being dragged by them. The goal is to learn how to rest inside awareness, the way a person rests under a tree while wind moves through branches. The wind can move, but you do not have to chase every leaf. Now I want to tell you a story, because stories speak to the part of us that overthinks, the part that wants to understand by feeling, not only by logic. There was an older man named Thomas who lived alone after his partner passed away. He was not completely isolated. His daughter called weekly. Neighbors nodded politely, but inside, he felt a growing restlessness. At night, his mind would replay old arguments and old mistakes. It would replay ethical worries and money worries. It would create scenes of becoming helpless. It would imagine a future where he could not remember, and he would lie in bed with his eyes open, listening to the refrigerator hum and his own thoughts roar. One morning, after a sleepless night, he walked to a small park and sat on a bench. He watched pigeons step around, as if they had nowhere urgent to be. He watched an elderly woman push a stroller for her grandchild. The child laughed at a falling leaf, and the laugh sounded like something pure and untouched. Thomas felt tears because the sound reminded him that life still held beauty. But his mind could not stay with it. His mind kept pulling him away. On that bench he met an older monk who lived nearby. The monk was not dramatic. He did not speak in riddles. He simply asked Thomas if he was okay. Thomas surprised himself by telling the truth. He said, "My life is not terrible, but my mind is unbearable." The monk listened and then said something that sounded almost as simple. "If the mind is unbearable, then learn to bear it with kindness. Do not wrestle it, train it." Thomas asked how. The monk smiled and said, 6 things, 6 ways to come back to life when thought tries to steal it. That is where we begin. Lesson 1 is this: overthinking is craving for certainty in a world built on change. In Buddhist teaching, everything conditioned is impermanent. That means bodies change, relationships change, finances change, health changes. The world changes. Overthinking is the mind refusing to accept this truth. The mind says, if I think hard enough, I can make the uncertain certain. I can make the change unstable. I can guarantee I will not suffer. But this is a misunderstanding, because suffering is part of life, not because life moves. When you are older, the mind often becomes more sensitive to uncertainty because there is less illusion of unlimited time. The mind starts scanning for threats. It starts trying to control outcomes. It starts trying to protect the self-image. It starts trying to avoid dependence. It starts trying to avoid loss. Impermanence does not ask you to stop caring. It asks you to stop demanding guarantees. It asks you to trade control for clarity. Instead of asking, how can I ensure nothing bad happens, ask, How can I meet whatever happens with wisdom and compassion? That shift is enormous because it turns uncertainty from a monster into a teacher. Thomas began practicing this in a small way. When a thought came, what if I did sit and no one helps me? He did not argue with it. He did not push it away. He simply said to himself, uncertainty is here. That is all. He named it like you name rain outside a window. Rain is here. Uncertainty is here. Then he took a slow breath and felt the bed beneath him. He felt the air entering and leaving, and he noticed that in that moment he was safe enough to breathe. This is the first step in stopping overthinking. You stopped reading uncertainty like a personal failure. You stopped treating it like a problem that must be solved tonight at 2 a.m. You accept that uncertainty exists and you train the mind to stay present inside it. Lesson 2 is this: thoughts are events, not commandments. Buddhism teaches mindfulness, which means seeing clearly without clinging. The mind produces thoughts the way the stomach produces digestion. The mind does it automatically. Many thoughts are not true. Many thoughts are not useful. Many thoughts are not useful. Many thoughts repeat simply because the habit is strong. In old age, the mind may replay regrets more often. Becomes a place the mind visits when the future feels scary, but a thought is still just a thought. Thomas learned to watch his mind like watching birds. He would sit in a chair in the morning with a cup of warm drink and simply observe. A thought would arrive. I should have saved more. Another thought would arrive. I am losing my sharpness. He noticed that each thought tried to hook him with a fishing line. If he grabbed the line, he was pulled into a story. If he did not grab it, the thought drifted away. This is not magic, it is training. At first the mind will feel louder because you are finally paying attention. But with practice you discover something liberating. Thoughts do not stay forever unless you feed them. The mind is like fire. Thought is the spark. Attention is the oxygen. If you keep giving oxygen, if you remove oxygen, the fire fades. So the lesson is not to stop thinking. It is to stop obeying every thought. It is to stop reading thought as reality. Helpful image is to imagine thoughts written on clouds. You can read them, but you do not have to climb onto them. You can let them pass. When Thomas could not sleep, he practiced a simple phrase. This is a thought, not a prophecy. This is a thought, not a command. He repeated it gently until the mind softened enough to rest. Lesson 3 is this: return to the body because the body lives in now. Overthinking lives in the head. It pulls you into past and future. The body is the anchor that brings you back. The breath is not in yesterday. The breath is not in tomorrow. The breath is now. Buddhist practice often begins with mindfulness of breathing. Not because breathing is holy, but because breathing is reliable. Even when everything else changes, the breath is available. As long as you are alive, in old age especially can benefit from this. Because the body may slow down, and that slowing can become a doorway into deeper awareness. Thomas learned a practice called grounding. He would place his feet on the floor and feel the contact. He would notice the pressure, the temperature, the weight. He would relax his shoulders and soften his jaw. He would take 3 slow breaths and lengthen the exhale, because the exhale tells the nervous system that it can settle. At first this felt too small compared to his huge worries, but then he noticed something. The body cannot be in panic and relaxation at the same time. When he relaxed even slightly, the mind lost some fuel. The thoughts were still there, but they were less sticky. This lesson is not about ignoring real problems. It is about choosing the right time to address them. Overthinking often happens when the body is tired and the brain is least capable of solving anything. So returning to the body is a way of saying, I will care for myself first. I will not sacrifice my nervous system to imaginary emergencies. In Buddhist terms, this is wise effort. You use your energy skillfully, not violently. Lesson 4 is this: compassion ends the inner interrogation. Many people overthink because they are harsh with themselves. They treat the mind like a court case. Every regret becomes evidence. Every mistake becomes identity. Every flaw becomes proof of unworthiness. This is exhausting, especially in old age when the heart needs gentleness. Buddhist teachings emphasize compassion not as softness, but as strength. Compassion means you see suffering and to respond with kindness, rather than cruelty that includes your own suffering. Thomas realized that much of his overthinking was self-punishment. He would replay conversations from decades ago and attack himself for what he said. He would replay missed opportunities and call himself foolish. He would replay the divorce and blame himself endlessly. Sometimes he even punished himself for grieving as if grief were weakness. The monk told him something that changed him. You cannot hate yourself into peace. So Thomas began practicing compassion. In a very concrete way, when regret thoughts came, he placed a hand on his chest and spoke to himself. Like he would speak to a friend, he said, "I understand why you did that. You were afraid, you were trying, you did not have the wisdom you have now. May you be forgiven. May you learn, may you be at peace." At first he felt silly, then he felt a wave of sadness because he realized he had never spoken to himself with tenderness. He had spent years being strong for others but never gentle with himself. Overthinking often decreases when self-compassion increases because the mind no longer needs to rehearse punishments. The mind starts feeling safe enough to rest. In Buddhism, compassion is connected to wisdom. Wisdom sees causes and conditions. It understands that people act from ignorance, fear, desire, and habit. Compassion recognizes this chooses kindness rather than blame. Lesson 5 is this: simplify the mind by simplifying what you feed it. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you water grows in modern life. The mind is flooded with information, especially fear-based information, news, anxiety, arguments, endless entertainment, comparisons. All when this creates mental clutter. In old age, the mind may become more sensitive to this clutter because the nervous system is less resilient to constant stimulation. Buddhist practice of simplicity is not deprivation. It is renunciation in the sense of letting go of what increases suffering. Thomas made a small change. He stopped watching the late night news. He stopped scrolling before bed. He stopped arguing online. He began ending his evenings with quiet. Instead, he would listen to soft sounds or sit in silence. He would write down 3 things he was grateful for, not dead things, just real things. A warm meal, a phone call, a tree outside the window, a memory of laughter. Within weeks, he noticed fewer racing thoughts at night. The mind had less fuel, less noise. He also simplified his commitments. He stopped saying yes out of guilt. He practiced boundaries kindly. He learned that old age is not the time to keep proving your worth through business ends. It is the time to protect your peace and focus on what matters. In Buddhist terms, this is guarding the sense doors, being mindful of what you let enter through sight, sound, and thought, because what enters shapes your mind. Lesson 6 is this: make peace with death, so the mind stops bargaining with time. This is the deepest lesson and the one most people avoid, yet it is the one that frees the most. Overthinking in old age often hides a fear of death. The mind replays the past because it wants to redo life. The mind plans the future because it wants to guarantee safety. But underneath is the truth that life ends. Buddhism does not treat death as taboo. It treats death as a mirror. The mirror says, do not waste your days. Do not waste your heart on resentment. Do not waste your breath on endless worry. Use your time to awaken. When you accept mortality, something strange happens. The mind becomes clearer. The mind becomes less interested in trivial battles. The mind becomes more devoted to love and wisdom. Thomas did not become fearless overnight, but he began contemplating death gently, not with horror, but with honesty. He would sit and reflect one day. I will die. That is not a curse, it is a fact, and because it is a fact, I want to live today with presence. I want to speak what matters. I want to forgive what is heavy. I want to give what is good. This contemplation reduced his overthinking because it shifted his focus from control to meaning. Instead of asking, how do I avoid every risk, he asked, how do I use my time well? In Buddhism, there is a teaching that the quality of your mind matters at the end. Because the mind carries tendencies, the mind carries habits. So practice is not abstract, it is preparation, not in a fearful way, but in a peaceful way. Thomas began practicing small acts of kindness daily. Not to earn anything, but to shape his heart. He called people he had avoided. He apologized when needed. He thanked people more often. He volunteered once a week at a local place, simply to be useful in a calm way. He felt his mind becoming lighter. Now I want to take these 6 lessons and weave them into a single day, because many of you need something you can imagine doing, not just understanding. Imagine you wake up and your mind immediately starts listing worries. Health, money, family, loneliness. Instead of fighting the list, you name it. You see here, that is lesson 1. Then you remember thoughts or events, not commands. That is lesson 2. You place your attention on your breath and feel your body in that. That is lesson 3. You speak to yourself kindly. You speak to yourself kindly. You say, this is hard and I am here with you. That is lesson 4. Then you decide to feed your mind something clean instead of something toxic. You choose a quiet morning rather than a flood of fear. That is lesson 5. And to remember time is precious, so you choose what matters. You choose what matters. You choose This is how you stop overthinking, not by winning an argument with your mind, but by changing your relationship to it. Now let me share another story, because some of you may be thinking, I have tried breathing and it does not work. I have tried positive thinking and it feels fake. I understand. Let us make it more human. There was a woman named Grace who was in her 70s. She had a sharp mind all her life. She prided herself on being able to solve problems quickly. But as she aged, she noticed her mind turning against her. It started solving problems that did not exist. It started replaying conversations. It started imagining disasters. She felt trapped in her own intelligence. One night she could not sleep and she went to the kitchen. She made tea and stared at the dark window. She thought about her friends who had passed away. She thought about her own body. She thought about the possibility of losing independence, and her mind spiraled. The next day she visited a temple, not because she was religious, but because she wanted quiet. She sat in the back and listened to chanting. She did not understand the words, but she felt the rhythm. Then she listened to a short talk where the teacher said, the mind is like a monkey. It grabs one branch then another. If you chase the monkey, you will exhaust yourself. If you create a gentle home, the monkey will rest. Grace took that phrase and experimented. She stopped trying to force her mind to be silent. Instead, she created a gentle home. She dimmed lights at night. She lowered stimulation. She placed a small chair near a window and sat there every evening for 10 minutes. She did not demand peace. She simply practiced friendly attention. When thoughts came, she said, hello thought, then she returned to breath. When fear came, she placed a hand on her belly and softened. When regret came, she whispered forgiveness. When loneliness changed, she sent loving kindness to someone else quietly in her mind. May you be safe, may you be peaceful. After months, she discovered her mind still produced thoughts, but the thoughts were less controlling. She had created a new habit, the habit of returning, the habit of kindness, the habit of not chasing the monkey. This is the heart of Buddhist practice. It is not perfection, it is return. Now I want to address a very common pattern in older age that fuels overthinking, the belief that you must solve your entire life story before you can rest. Many people carry unfinished questions. Was I a good parent? Did I waste my talent? Did I choose the right partner? Did I live the right life? These questions can be meaningful, but overthinking makes them sharp and endless. It turns reflection into torture. Buddhism offers a gentle frame. You do not need a perfect story. You need a sincere heart, is one that learns that regrets can become wisdom if you hold them with compassion. A sincere heart is one that uses remaining time to plant good seeds. Dharma is important here because it shifts you from rumination to action. If you regret not being present with family, you can be present now. If you regret not caring for your health, you can care now. If you regret harsh words, you can offer kind words now. If you regret distance, you can reach out now. Small actions done with sincere intention can heal the mind more than endless analysis. Another fuel for overthinking is loneliness. Many older people experience social shrinking. Friends move, pass away, or become busy. Families change, communities shift. Loneliness then becomes a loud room where thoughts echo. Buddhist wisdom suggests two remedies: connection and compassion. Connection does not always mean many people. It can mean one sincere relationship. It can mean community service. It can mean spiritual community. It can mean walking in nature and feeling belonging to the world. Compassion means recognizing that many others share the same fear and pain. When you feel that shared humanity, loneliness softens because you are not isolated inside your story. Thomas discovered this when he began volunteering. He met other older people. Many had similar worries and regrets. Hearing others speak openly made him feel less alone. He realized overthinking thrives in secrecy. When you bring your inner experience into honest conversation, it loses some power. Now let us talk about practical nighttime, because many of you struggle most at night. Overthinking often peaks when the day ends because the mind is no longer distracted. Here is a Buddhist-inspired approach framed as a simple sequence. First, lower stimulation. Early, reduce bright screens, reduce intense content, institute a short ritual that signals safety to the body. A warm drink, gentle music, dim light. Third, sit for a few minutes and breathe. Longer exhales. Fourth, if thoughts come, do not argue. Say thinking is happening, then return to sensation. Fifth, offer loving kindness to yourself. Sixth, end with gratitude, that real small gratitude, then rest. If sleep does not come, do not punish yourself. Rest the body anyway. The body can rest without sleep sometimes, and when you stop fighting wake-up signals, the mind often relaxes enough to drift. Now I want to gently speak about fear of becoming a burden, because this fear drives so much overthinking in old age. People imagine needing help and they feel shame. They think I will be a burden to my children. I will be a burden to society. I will be useless. Buddhist wisdom counters this with interdependence. No one is a burden in the way the mind imagines human. Support each other across a lifetime. You were helped when you were young. You'll help others when you were strong. You may need help again. That is not failure. That is the natural flow of life. Compassion is not one direction. It is a circle. When you allow yourself to receive help with grace, you give others a chance to practice compassion. You also model humility and courage. Overthinking often decreases when shame decreases, because shame is like poison that keeps the mind spinning. It says, I must fix myself to be worthy. Compassion says you are already worthy. Now let us bring everything to a warm close with meaning. If you are watching this and you feel the mind racing more as you age, please remember, you are not broken, you are human. Overthinking is a strategy your mind learned it to survive. It can be unlearned, it can be softened, it can be transformed. The 6 lessons we walked through are not separate. They are one path. Accept impermanence, release the craving for certainty, see thoughts as events, return to the body, practice compassion. Simplify what you feed your mind, make peace with mortality, and live with meaning. When you practice these lessons day after day, something changes. The mind becomes less like a storm and more like a sky. Storms can still pass through, but the sky remains wide. You begin to feel a quiet confidence that nothing will go wrong, but confidence that you can meet life with wisdom. Before we end, I want to ask you a question to carry into your own reflection. What is the thought that visits you most often at night, and what would it feel like to meet that thought with kindness instead of fighting? If you feel comfortable, share in the comments what you are learning about overthinking and aging and what practice helps you most. Your story can help someone else feel less alone. If this video helped you even a little, please support the channel by subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. It truly helps the channel reach more people who need gentle wisdom. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Slow breath. Right now, feel your body where it is. Let your shoulders soften, let your jaw relax. Let the next thought pass like a cloud. Remember, your life is not only what you think, your life is also the quiet awareness that can watch thinking and return home. Until next time, be patient with your mind, be kind to your heart, and keep practicing the gentle return.